don't know what it is with me, but I swear I cannot put myself in a victim mind state. I feel like it gives my power away, and I feel like it's not solution oriented. So it just, no, I don't feel like that's the solution, to be a victim. Now, don't be delusional. If something happened to you, something happened to you. Address it and then find a solution so it don't happen to you no more. Like, people that are victims repeat patterns. They continuously attract the same thing. For example, if you was in a domestic violence relationship, right? You get over and you're like, I would never deal with nobody that puts their hands on me again. Then you get into another relationship. The man might not put his hands on you, but he devalues you. He talks shit to you. You know what I'm saying? He don't value you because it's about you accepting it because you don't value yourself. So you have to do the inner work in order to stop patterns. And I don't want to be insensitive to other people's experiences or what they have to go through to be able to cope with, you know, the things that they've been through. I know what works for me, and what I believe that can work for many people is to take accountability for why you got yourself in this type of situation. My whole carbonation experience was totally different than other people. Like, literally, people say they lost so much weight. I gained weight. It's easy to sit in victimhood, but I am such high and big on accountability. I would never tell somebody to just remain a victim and want to get sympathy and suck people out of their energy because you feel like a victim. Like, I'm done with that. I'm done attracting people like that. I attract people that sit there, oh, well, I've been through this, I've been through that, and I don't have nowhere to stay, and and they, you know, they play on people's emotions, kindness, because they want to feel like they've been so wrong that you should just help them out. I can't fix your problems. You have to fix your problems. You have to take accountability for where you're at in your life. And I know I heard somebody talking about, oh, I didn't join a cult. Nobody joins a cult. Oh, if I would have known this was to happen, then I would have never went. Like, of course, if people would have known if they did something they was going to go to jail, they wouldn't have did it. If they would have known the relationship was going to end the way it did, or that this person was going to cheat, they never would have been with them. That's just not accountability. Okay? It's not a solution. It's weak. It's very, very weak. From my experience, I'm thinking I'm joining a group that's loving, that is in tune with nature, that eats healthy. Let's look at that. That eats healthy. The person is preaching online, you need to eat 1 meal a day, rice, beans, chicken, and fish. So I'm like, ooh, he didn't tell me to do that. He just said, this is what we do. And I said, you know what? I'm going to apply that to my life and see how I took out meats, took out processed foods, not all the meats, but, you know, the like steaks and, you know, deli meats and stuff like that, and took out like a lot of things from my diet, and only, you know, started doing 1 meal a day, and only meat I ate was fish and chicken, and I ate a lot of rice and beans. I started to feel better. You know what? I heard this person say it. I decided to apply it to my life to see how it would help me. Now, I'm not gonna hold you. At that time, I was going through certain things and I was stressed out. So when I went to carbonation, I was very skinny, like very skinny. But by the time I left, I gained like 25 to 35, 40 pounds. Like, I gained a lot of weight, and we were eating good. Many people that was there at certain times they were there, they would say you did not eat good, you were starving, all this other stuff. The experiences was different, and I cannot just take on somebody else's experience and not honor my own. Okay, I can't do that. I gained a lot of weight at carbonation, and that's just what it is. I cannot dishonor myself and act like it ain't because somebody else's experience was different. I have to look at that, because now I know what I need to do to gain weight. And guess we were eating a lot of vegan meals, and a lot homemade vegan meals, and a lot of pastas. We went out to eat all the time. We ate a lot of red snapper, and I ate a lot of oatmeal and peanut butter. Okay, so I have to look at that. I can't be like, oh, well, they didn't, and they lost weight, so it was just a bad, you know, all the people that, you know, I just can't do that. Okay, I'm not gonna be delusional. I'm gonna honor my own experience. When I first got there, they were eating Chipotle and Chinese, and I was like, what? But then we left from Vegas and went to Mexico, and in Mexico we didn't eat none of that shit. So when I first get there, I'm like, okay, you eating Chinese and shit. Like, what the fuck? I'm thinking, what the fuck? So I have to look at myself at that point. And I have to be like, okay, obviously they're not practicing what they preach. I'm going to put myself into this. So this is just an example, but it goes for many different things. If you're thinking they're loving, you get there, they're not loving. If you're thinking, this is supposed to happen, this is what they're showing, this is what it's going to be, and you get there and it's the opposite, then you got to look at yourself. Are you going to accept this? Are you going to, condone this? And I did. I was like, okay, I felt like it's something wrong, but I accepted that we ate Chinese certain times, which is something that I was against, but I went against my own judgment, my own, principles, and accepted that. Now, when it came to the disrespect, and for me losing respect for how a couple of the people moved, that was my line. That was one of my lines. And realizing that I could not bring my children there. Not to say he didn't say I could. He said I could, but it wasn't a conducive environment that I wanted my children in. So, and then I told him I wanted to leave for the children, but I also was losing respect for how people were moving. And I don't want to be in somebody's environment if I don't respect them. So there's lines that get drawn whenever you're in a situation. You're saying, oh, well, I'm not dealing with this. I'm leaving. You know what I'm saying? But the people that stayed, they accepted it, even if they within didn't really agree or didn't really want to do it. I wouldn't say you didn't agree because you agreed, but you know what I'm saying? You accepted it in the moment. And that's what you have to take accountability for. So whenever you leave an experience and then you reevaluate that to learn from it, you may say, you know what? I don't agree with that. I don't like how that happened. You know what? And then this is when you're like, oh, now you're having your own mind. You had your own mind the whole time. You may have wanted to forfeit that or try to be like, well, I want this person to think. Like I heard a man that came from there said it was easier to have Baba Nature Boy think for me. Cop out, weak. That's just weak. I'm telling you, it's weak. But that was you in that moment. You have to take responsibility for how you were in the moment. It's a cop-out to say, oh, it's only that person. That person made me do it. I was there, and I have some analytical energy, and these people that leave and want to blame everything on this man, it's weird. Like, you can sit there and choke your girl out until she feel like you're about to kill her with your bare hands, and then leave and say it was only his fault that you did that. You did that shit. Different environments bring out different things that's within you. But no environment can bring out something that's not within you. If I squeeze an orange juice is going to come out because that's what's in the orange. That's what's in the orange. Apple juice is not going to come out of an orange if I squeeze it. Nothing can come out of you that's not in you. So if this is the environment you put yourself in to bring out the domestic violence in you, the neglect in you, or whatever in you, it was in you. I'm saying this with love. That's not to get on somebody, and I don't feel like, I'm not trying to make nobody feel like a bad person. I literally believe the mass murderers can change their life. That's my belief. And I actually believe you have to, whether it takes lifetimes or not. You have to ascend. So I have a very forgiving and understanding heart. And yes, the people outside looking in is going to be like, well, they're victims. Like, they're very weak, docile victims. They're young. All this excuses. And with no accountability. You put yourself in that position. You stayed there for years. You left, talked shit, had direct understanding of what the fuck was happening. And you explained it online to many people. But you went and took your ass back. You can think that if somebody you're going to be with, in a relationship with, is going to be a good person, they're going to treat you right. But the moment they start treating you wrong, you have a decision to put up with it, to be okay with it, or to leave. People was okay with certain things because they valued something else they were getting from this person more than that. In order to change your life, your reality, you got to take accountability. Accountability is key to your ascension. I love accountability. Yup. I was okay with certain things. I was okay. Before I went there, this man said, you know what? And certain religions say this too. It's crazy. I don't know if it's the unhealthy, perception of this religion. I think it's Islam. But they feel like the woman is beneath a man, and that if she disrespects him, that she can be slapped. There's a religion, or there's certain people that's preaching this religion says this. I agreed before I went. After I went, I can't say, oh, now I'm in tune with myself and I don't believe that's right. No, I agreed at that moment. But when I left, I did inner work to help me to come to the conclusion that we don't need violence at all. We're too smart. We don't even need to whoop our children, because we're too smart for that. There's other solutions. There's other ways to handle it. I had to go through an experience to help me understand this. I had to do inner work and take accountability to help me come to this conclusion, to align with my own moral compass. I have some thoughts about some people that was there and that left, and that they're the victims. But I was there when you consented. You know what I'm saying? So it goes deep. So it's weird, and I just feel like maybe I just got to speak out, because maybe this can help other people. Because from my understanding, you're running from yourself, and you're not gonna ascend. You're not gonna ascend if you're not taking accountability. You're not gonna ascend spiritually. And when you neglect everything that you learned, not the lessons that you had to learn through the experience, but the certain awareness that you were drawn to. And I understand it's not easy, because I had to do it for a whole year. I isolated myself, and I had to take the meat and spit out the bones type thing, where I had to go through all the information that I learned from Nature Boy and see what applies to me and what doesn't. Because he spoke from his ego a lot, where he said, I am God, I am the ruler, blah, blah, blah. And then he spoke truth, and he said, you are God, everything is within you. You are the solution to all your problems. That resonated with me. Whenever he said, I am God, I am the Messiah, in a sense, but I'm not thinking like, I never thought like, oh, well, you're just above me and all that master stuff. The Messiah, people literally felt like this is the Messiah from the Bible, and this is the return of Jesus. I never read the Bible. I never, and even when he talked to me about, I like certain things that he said about the Bible, but he didn't understand. He don't understand, because sometimes he like goes in depth with me about the Bible, and I'm like, I do not really subscribe to this. Like, I hear the truth, but the way you're explaining it, trying to make you look like Jesus, I don't even, you know what I'm saying? I just don't subscribe to it in the way that most people do. The first time I heard the word Messiah was from Nature Boy, Eligio. And he said that means messenger. So I accept him as, yeah, he's a messenger. I'm a messenger. Many people are messengers. You know what I'm saying? But certain other people literally felt like they looked at him differently. They just looked at it differently. So that's why I don't want to be insensitive to other people's experiences. Like, okay, this man said he's above you, like, but he also says nothing is above you. We're all one. So you're choosing to believe this in a literal sense. But I get it. Like, it is deep. That is deep. And it is a psychological thing. And yeah, you would need some mental help coming from that situation. You can have a teacher. You can have somebody that inspires you. You can have somebody that you really, really respect, and all their advice you want to take. Which you should never have somebody all their advice or all the things they say is true. But to do it like that, that's overboard. That's extreme. And you have to take accountability for that too.